Hi, my name's Yolanda Medina. I go by Yoli Medina, and I'm an attorney. And some of you may have seen me on other people's shows as a panel guest. I wanted to make this short video about the Mica Miller Global Settlement that was reached the other day. A lot of people have, feelings that the family sold out or the family may have just wanted money. Who knows? There's people out there with varying opinions. But I wanted to stress that one of the things about civil litigation is a lot of times you're ordered to go to mediation when you file a claim, such as a wrongful death claim. In Mica Miller's case, the attorney Regina Ward gave an interview at Fitz News, with Fitz News, I should say, that she explained that in South Carolina, when you do file a civil claim, you're ordered to go to mediation. So what was happening is, I believe she was already engaging in settlement discussions because that's what they're going to have to do if a wrongful death claim is pursued in court. Now, in doing so, they discussed various things, and I know that Regina Ward talked about other claims like wages, things like that could be brought, also intentional infliction of emotional distress. And she gave this interview prior to the hearing. So at the hearing, I imagine they kind of probably entered into settlement discussions. And one of the things that could have made the Mica Miller family settle and to release all claims, not just claims they could have brought against Mr. Miller, but claims that Mr. Miller might have against them. And one of the claims that I think might be likely that Mr. Miller was going to bring against the family is a wrongful death claim against her family. And the reason why I believe this is because of the statements that Mr. Miller made in various interviews and also in videos where he claimed that when Mica was with him and she was taking her medication, that she was allegedly fine. And when she was off her medication and away from him, she was very depressed. And he also indicated that her family was discouraging her from taking her medication and basically was interfering with her. And, he could have very well was getting ready to file a wrongful death suit against the family because he also mentioned in one of his videos that he wants justice for Mica. So that leads me to believe that he was possibly thinking about filing a wrongful death action against Mica's family. So this leads me, to the thought that, when you have to defend a wrongful death action as a family, there is an insurance that covers that. So, there's that I know of. I mean, usually if you're in a car accident and you get into an accident, it's your fault. Your insurance will defend you. Same with doctors. If they commit malpractice, their insurance will defend them. But in this case, there is, I would imagine that the Mica Miller family doesn't have insurance for a wrongful death claim against them. So they would have to pay out of pocket to defend any claims brought by Mr. Miller. And while they could still file a lawsuit against Mr. Miller for wrongful death and against the church for wages on behalf of the estate, it would still cost them money to defend a case because those claims, for wrongful death and intentional infliction of emotional distress can be handled by an attorney on a contingency basis, which means that the attorney doesn't get paid until the case resolves monetarily. So the attorney takes a chunk of that recovery for their attorney's fees and costs. But when an attorney is defending somebody in a wrongful death action such as this one, and it's a family situation, the family's being sued, then they would have to pay for attorney fees to defend it. And so it would just turn into a big ball of a big mess. And they would have to spend a lot of money to defend an action, not to mention what Mr. Miller White might bring out in this litigation. I'm not saying that they would bring out that he would bring out anything bad, but we never know. I mean, nobody's perfect, and everybody, has private lives, and there might be things that maybe it's best to leave out of any kind of litigation. But the main thing is probably, money to defend the action. And while they could rely on donations, it's going to be very difficult for an attorney to defend a wrongful death action uh, relying on donations. I mean, I suppose they could get a pro bono attorney, but there are many reasons why this family settled. And I would think that before going into this hearing, they were already trying to engage in settlement discussions because they were going to have to anyway if they file a wrongful death action. And the pros and cons were discussed, and they reached a settlement, which was the best for all. And the beginning of Ms. Ward's interview on Fitz News was a little strange for some people because she was talking about future actions. But in light of settlement discussions, when you actually go and you talk about settlement, it's a different thing. You got to advise your client what's best, what could happen, what comes, and I could really see Mr. Miller filing a wrongful death action against the family. I mean, he was already setting it up, saying, well, when she was with me, she was on her medication. When she was with her family, she wasn't, and she was suicidal. And this is what happens when families encourage people to get off their medications. And he was going on, and he wants justice for Mica. So I could sort of see he was setting something up. So this global settlement protects the family from any claims that Mr. Miller might file against them. So we have to think about all of these possibilities that could have gone into settling this case. And I just wanted to make this short video just to give my 2 cents. So thank you for watching, and let me know what you think in the comments.